Am I wrong then? Wasn't it from the pain of being slammed against a wall? Or could it be from something else? That's enough, Takumi. Shou, take Emi home and talk to her about what we've discussed. Takumi, let's continue our discussion at my desk. Ori, I hope you feel better. Hikari turns on his heels and walks back over to his desk. Takumi, looking exactly like a child that's been scolded, glances back at Shou. Sorry, Shou. I hope you feel better, Ori. Takumi runs off to catch up with the professor, leaving Shou and I alone. It's really late, so we better get going. We're once again walking down the street to my apartment, but this time it feels like we're both in our own worlds. My parents' situation weighs heavily on my mind, and I felt incredibly helpless. I glance at Shou. He seems bummed out about something too. I decide to break the silence. We're making a habit out of this, huh? The whole me blowing up, passing out, and having you walk me home after thing. Yeah, I guess we are. We walk along the darkening streets in silence for a while. Then I decide to start up a conversation again. I'm sorry. We stop and stare at each other. A few moments pass before we burst into laughter. You know, where I went to high school, you owed me a soda right now for that. Really, huh? Well, I guess I'll have to buy you one sometime. You could tell me about your high school then, too. Sounds good. That sounds like a date, Shou. That definitely sounds like a date. But what were you apologizing for? I'm the only one who should be sorry I hurt you. It's just, I totally feel you. I'm supposed to be helping you so that doesn't happen. But I was sitting right there and I couldn't do anything to help. I think Tatsuya is right. You should have picked someone else. Listen, Shou. You're doing just fine. So of course I'm gonna say it's not his fault, because it's not his fault. I'm just going through a lot of shit right now that I can't explain. That's not your fault, Shou. It was just... I paused wondering how the hell to explain my family situation. I got a text message that really upset me. No one would have predicted that. And besides, Tatsuya and Shinji couldn't help either. Well, I guess that's true too. Actually, how did you guys stop me? It was Takumi. He had to use a tranquilizer dart just to get close to you. I'm sorry you got hurt. What the hell was he carrying a tranquilizer dart from? Like, I mean, right? That's a bit sketchy for like a human. I instinctively touched his shoulder where I felt the sharp but brief pain. But that hurt like hell too, right? So is Takumi just a human then? Yeah, and he was still the only one who could help you. By the way, I had a suspicion that he was just human, so... Seeing how pained Shou looks, I stifled my curiosity about Takumi and put on a smile. You were there to take care of me as soon as you could. And you were there when I woke up. And it was comforting. So thanks. Oh, well, good. Look how alarmed he looks right now. It's so funny. I'm glad I could be helpful in some way. Oh, I almost forgot. Shinji apologized after having to leave before you woke up. He and Tatsuya both had work. And Professor K said you had to start taking supplementary classes. So you're already all signed up for some classes starting tomorrow. Wink. Oh, alright then. It's pretty sudden, but I guess considering what happened, I shouldn't be surprised. We arrive at my apartment just then, and Shou looks at me. It's pretty late, so I've got to get going. But Thanks for everything you said. I'll text you later, okay? Okay, thanks for walking me home. With a single wave, Shou jogs off into the night. I walk into my apartment feeling much more positive than I did this afternoon. It's the next morning. I'm staring bleary-eyed at an email that completely changes my plans for today. Normally, I only have one early afternoon classes, but now, new courses added. Hagawara University faculty. You have been added to Control and Focus, 0032, Arden, Theoretical Magic Studies, 0036, Hirayama, Practical Magic Application, 0013, Kazuma. We get Professor K. That's awesome. Ugh. Ori is obviously not happy right now. I shove my face into my pillow and let out all of my frustrations into it. I usually love school, but come on, even I need a break. I lift my head up and glare at nothing. Thanks a lot, freaking lot, Mr. K. Professor K, actually. As frustrated as I am, I know that I need these classes too. I couldn't even get to sleep for hours last night. I was so scared. I sigh and push myself up. I reread the email and noticed that there's a class called Practical Magic Application. It's with Professor Kazuma. A flashback of Hikaru throwing a sphere of light at me fills my mind, and a creeping sense of dread crawls up my spine. Oh God, he wouldn't, would he? Now I know that Hikaru was never going to hurt me, only trigger my power. But would he do that again? What if I can't do anything and he has to, and then The memory of hanging suspended as my powers run wild, flinging Shou aside like it was nothing. It's all I can see. When I think of that, I get so terrified that I feel like I'm going to start panicking all over again. No, that would be completely counterproductive. I just need to calm down and try to figure out how to control these powers in the first place. That gives me an idea. I slowly shakily hold a hand out like I saw Hikaru do before I inhale. No, control. I need to be calm or else. No, just focus on what you're trying to do. I hold my hand out, and after a few moments realize I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I'll just have to do my best to figure it out while I'm there. Hikaru will be a lot more careful now, I'm sure. I think anyway. I sigh heavily and get out of bed. It's late afternoon. I trudge along the mostly empty basement, not at all looking forward to my next class, Practical Magic Application. I managed to learn a bit in Control and Focus, mostly because it's still the beginning of the year. Everything was focused on just breathing correctly, but I still couldn't summon anything. Theoretical Magic Studies was definitely way over my head, but it did at least give me some good information about magical limits. Apparently everyone is born with a certain amount of potential. I wonder what mine is. Well, technically you weren't born with it, you were given it, so I wonder how that's gonna go. But now I've got to be clueless in yet another class. I grit my teeth. I'm not the type to have no idea what's going on in class. I work very hard to feel that way. But here, it's like I'm totally out of my element. Hey, Ori. I looked to at the voice at my side, completely startled out of my thoughts. What's up? What? Why are you here? I thought you were, I try to think of how to say and make a vaguely magical hand motion. Takumi laughs. Really? He thought so? Did I pass for something not human? I looked Takumi over carefully. Well, yeah. Plus there was the thing yesterday. Oh, right. That. Sorry about that. I really didn't want to hurt you. No, it's okay. I'm really glad you were able to stop me before anything happened. So as for why I'm here, I managed to convince the administration to let me attend classes normally only supernatural students would attend. Professor K helped me out a lot with that. I think back to how frustrated Hikaru looked yesterday. Hikaru seems like he wouldn't be the type to be pushed around easily, but why does Takumi want to sit in anyway? A thought strikes me then, as I remember that he randomly had a tranquilizer dart on him. I mean, that's pretty strange, right? Maybe Takumi is actually kind of scary. I mean, right? Like, who carries around a tranquilizer dart with him? I mean, it's good that he did, because then I didn't, do anything ridiculously horrible, but it's kind of scary. We stop in front of the classroom I was headed to, and Takumi pushes open the door for me. I'm being allowed to sit in today's class while they get me all officially set up. So if we're both new, want to sit together? I actually want to sit with Shou. Sure. I walk past him into the classroom and he follows me. As I walk up the steps, I notice there's a different view than the first time I was in Professor Kazuma's class. Is that all done by magic? Will I be able to do something like that one day? I see someone in orange waving to me enthusiastically. I'm confused to see him in what I thought was a beginner's class, but I decide not to ask for now. Hey guys, what's up? Hey man. Takumi sits next to Shou and gestures for me to sit on the other side of him. Shou leans over to look at me. How are you feeling? Pretty good, thanks. I nervously wait for Shou to mention what happened yesterday, but he never does. Professor Kazuma walks in then, and after putting his things away, begins the lecture. I hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to continue the subject of elemental magic. I open my laptop and prepare to take notes. Elemental magic is one form of magic that's powered and drawn from the elements of the earth itself. There have been cases of people with especially powerful auras utilizing elements outside the earth. But since this is a remedial class, we won't be covering that. There are many elements magic users can wield in a variety of different ways. Since we talked about hydrokinesis last week, today we'll be talking about its other form, pyrokinesis, commonly referred to as ice. During the lecture, Kara goes over what pyrokinesis is and some of the purposes it can be used for. Towards the end of the lecture, I could swear I can hear faint voices coming from outside the door. Ice can even be an effective weapon in battle, and one of the largest families of half-dragons has utilized it this way for centuries. Yukimura Hariyama, would you come in? We all look towards the door that opens, and in walk the two men as if they've just been waiting outside. Murmurs spread through the classroom. There's that blue on blue dude again, the one with the attitude. And then he looks so hesitant, little Shinji. Well, not little, he's probably like tall, but yeah. Shou leans over and glances at Takumi and I before whispering. I bet you anything those two have been arguing again. I know, it's hilarious. I wonder what they're even here for, though. Hikaru continues, ignoring our whispers. Shinji and Tatsuya are from my advanced class, but they agreed to do a demonstration for us here today. Tatsuya? Tatsuya steps forward and grabs his left forearm near his elbow with his right hand. He closes his eyes for just a moment before running his hands over his arm. I hear a faint crackling sound from where I sit on the edge of my desk. I don't realize what he's done at first until I see the falling mist from his arm. I quickly examine him and see Tatsuya covered his left arm with sparkling ice. There's also a blade that juts far past his fist that looks really sharp. Man, ice is scary, by the way. Like, I think about all the horror films and stuff that I've seen, or like thrillers with ice. You can die from like falling on ice. Not like, I mean like jagged ice. You could probably still fall from falling on like ice though. I can't help it when a gas escapes my mouth. This is one example of pyrokinesis applied for use in battle. Tatsuya has effectively covered his arm in incredible hard ice to act both as armor and as a weapon. Before we move on to the next demonstration, does anyone have any questions? Still amazed at the sight before me, I raise my hand. Yes, Hime. From what I understand, this is the most peaceful period of time there's been so far. Why would a supernatural being need to learn to fight? There are whispers throughout the class following my question. Takumi starts whispering to me. Looks like you just outed yourself as being a complete newbie. What? How? It's true that monsters no longer freely roam the land, and supernaturals have opted to hide themselves as much as possible in today's world. But the fact is that there are still plenty of reasons to learn to use your powers to defend yourself. From barroom balls to supernatural worlds, supernaturals are still people, and they'll always have to they're always going to have disputes. Hikaru sighs and suddenly looks very tired. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So that's why you're here. To help you gain mastery of your powers so you can defend yourself. I'm taken aback by Hikaru's speech. I sense I've struck a nerve, and I feel like an idiot for asking such an obvious question. Oh, Amy, but you didn't know. You didn't know. I'm feeling completely embarrassed when I feel a warm hand on mine. So I'm gonna bet anything that that's Shou, because remember, guys, he's a phoenix, and he just snatches you warm most of the time. I look up and see that Shou's reaching over to Takumi, so I feel like we should just side by side at this point. Don't worry about it. Professor K is known for getting a little emotional sometimes, and he knows you don't know about this stuff. Thanks. Can you guys maybe not do that kind of stuff right now? And pay attention to the lecture? Shinji is about to do something super cool. Sorry! We completely drop each other's hands, and I turn my attention back towards Shinji. So it's okay if I do. So is it okay if I do a combat demonstration then? Of course, we'll be doing combat later here too. Just don't get carried away. Perish the thought, Professor K. I'd never do anything dangerous to my buddy Tatsu. Shinji raises both his hands in front of his torso as if he was holding something that we couldn't see. I hear a different sort of crackling this time, and the air around Shinji's hand starts to shimmer and distort. I swear, Shinji, if you don't move. Suddenly I see white flashes of something leap between Shinji's hands. Almost at the same time as I realize what I'm seeing, he pushes out both hands toward Tatsuya's ice-covered arms. The electricity arcs from his hands to the ice. Almost immediately, the ice begins to melt and turn into a white mist. Everyone in the classroom seems to gasp at once. Hikaru even seems a little bit surprised, but he turns to face the class with an awkward smile. Okay, so that was one way of disabling an opponent using ice. If you happen to be lucky enough to be in electrokinesis. I think that was a nice conclusion to our lecture, so we're done for today. I'm only snapped out of my daze by Shou putting a hand on my shoulder. Come on, I'll walk you home. Hey, what about me? Can I come? Shou looks at me questioningly, and I nod and grab my bag. It's not far, and I'm feeling fine, but sure. Tatsuya and Shinji almost immediately start to argue, but then they both leave the class together before we can catch up to them. In the hallway, all I hear are people talking about was how cool the demonstrations were. Takumi besides me literally hasn't stopped talking since I told him we could come, and is excitedly bouncing along. Did you guys see that? I didn't even know Shinji could do that. It was so inventive too. I would have never thought to do that. Well, I mean, technically you can't because you're a human, so sorry, Takumi. Man, I wish I'd paid better attention to physics. Physics was such a fun class for me. I glanced over at Shou, who has been quiet since the class ended. I want to ask Shou what's wrong, but it's kind of hard to have a serious conversation with Takumi skipping right in between us. I think if I look hard enough, I can see actual stars in Takumi's eyes. Aw, damn it. But Tatsuya might come home in a bad mood because of that. So are they roommates or something? But still, it was so cool. I wish I could do stuff like you guys can. Ugh, I want to have magic powers. Yeah, they're pretty great when you're good with them. Oh, he's in a mood. Shou mumbles this under his breath while Takumi continues talking, but I heard him. I'm gonna go see if I can catch with Shinji and Tatsuya so I can ask them more. Come on, Ori. Before I can say anything, I'm dragged up at Takumi with Shou running to keep up with us. Shinji has brought us to a little park just out of the campus. I like those little, are those snails? Yeah, like little ride things for little kids. That's adorable. We managed to catch up with them, but Takumi had so many questions that we decided to hang out a little longer. I figured I should hear the answers anyway, so I didn't mind. After a quick trip to the restroom, I'm now sitting on a bench with Shou while Takumi shoots rapid fire questions. Shou Shinji, are you a lighting mage or what? I can handle all of the elements to varying degrees. Wow, that's amazing. So you're probably the most powerful one here, right? I glance over at Shou sitting next to me. I don't know him well enough to say he's not acting like himself, but I feel he's been unusually quiet. Yeah, I'm right. You want to see power? Then let's have a proper demonstration. Ice versus ice. No thanks, I'm not stupid. He turns to Takumi, ignoring Tatsuya's smug grin. It's true that most people only can use like one element, but being able to use more than one doesn't mean much when it comes to raw power. In fact, 9 times out of 10, if they're using the same element, a specialist will beat someone who can use more than one. You catching this, Ori? I snap out of staring at Shou. What? Oh, yes? It makes sense. After all, a mastery of a subject usually takes intense focus and years. I trough and my eyes drift to Shou. And years of practice, yeah, you got it. Both of them are just like, this is getting weird. I notice that Tatsu and Shinji have become strangely silent. I glance at Takumi, surprised he stopped talking for more than a moment. Okay, clearly there's something no one is talking about here, and it has to do with Shou's powers. Unable to bear the stretching silence much longer, I reach for my bag to scratch myself with my phone, but it's not there. I look down on the bench from left to right. Didn't I bring it? I knew I had it when I left class. The guys immediately pick up on my distress. What's up, Ori? Are you looking for something? I nod and get up from the bench, looking all around it as I speak. I'm just looking for my bag. I'm absolutely sure I brought it with me from Professor Cosmo's class. I remember you having it too, because you checked your phone as soon as we walked outside. I have to admit that I thought Takumi was far too busy talking to pay attention to anything. I make a mental note to revise my growing assumption that he was kind of an airhead. But you probably put it down for a moment, didn't you? When you used the restroom. Maybe, for like a minute when I... Oh, I'll be right back. I immediately dash off to the park's restrooms. As soon as I get in, I spot my bag in a spot I would have never left it. The sink. I cautiously look around the bathroom before walking up to the sink and grabbing it. When I walk back outside, Shou is waiting near the bathroom's entrance for me. Oh, good, you found it. Losing your stuff would have been a pain for sure. Takumi and the others walk up to us. Have you checked the bag? Oh, no, but that's a good idea. I rummage through the bag, checking that my laptop, notebooks, and wallets are inside. Everything appears to be there, but everything's been all mixed up. Even though nothing's missing, someone definitely gone through my bag. But why would someone go through your things? Do you have any enemies, Ori? What? No, why would I? But then I think through the reasons I could be targeted. Only one comes to mind. I'm the daughter of Shinamura Industry CEO, Ori Sinamura. I couldn't have picked a better name for my character, honestly. I'm literally named after my father. I don't pretend to know everything my father does, but he's bound to have some people who would want to use me to get at him. I can't tell the guys that though, nor can I get them involved in anything dangerous because of who I am. Ori, are you absolutely sure? Anything could help. This whole thing might be nothing, but... No, I can't think of any reason why anyone would target me. Honestly, it could have just been a thief that got scared off by someone coming in or something. Yeah, that's probably it. There's no need to scare away with your theories, Takumi. Occam's razor, huh? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. In plainer words, the most simple solution is the most likely. There's probably nothing to worry about, Ori. Takumi doesn't look convinced in the least, and I turn around so I don't have to face him. Shou picks around at me though, his face right in front of mine. Come on, why don't I walk you home? Alright, thanks. We'll see you guys later. We waved goodbye and go our separate ways, though Takumi's enthusiasm was noticeably curved. I glanced at Shou beside me and wondered if he somehow sensed how uncomfortable I was. He did get me out of there pretty quick. Could he know I'm hiding something? But Shou looks at me and with a smile so bright that I reflexively smile back. He seems to walk in silence too. That's right, Shou's hiding something too. I guess even people like him have their demons. Most people do. Most people do, Ori. Oh, now we're on to a new chapter.